Good evening and welcome to Better Than B, where we hope to provide you with A-list entertainment and commentary. My name is James Armstrong, and here we are with James Waddington and Sean Sharp. How's everybody doing today?
Different day than Star Wars Day, so
Exactly.
I'm doing good.
Absolutely different day than Star Wars Day, absolutely.
I'm feeling much better than I did about 15 minutes ago. It's a brand new day.
This is all that matters. So,
All right, yeah.
well, this week we do have some big things to discuss. Of course, we'll be discussing Alien Covenant and some other movies that are coming out directly. Now, of course, if you haven't seen the movies, just keep in mind we may be discussing things.
You'll see a spoiler alert
work.
sign go
Yeah.
up pretty much at the beginning of this video.
Yeah, I think the only thing that'll be in direct spoiler territory is Alien Covenant. This will be a spoiler talk.
We could put
the
Pirates
Fallout.
in there as spoiler. It's only
That's
been
true.
out for like 2.5 weeks, maybe.
Well,
Weekend,
About a
maybe?
week, yeah.
Yeah,
One week.
we'll put a spoiler alert for the first couple
two.
the first two subjects.
The first two are
Spoiler stuff.
Yeah, spoiler. Okay, diving right in. It seems I'm the only one here who's actually seen Alien Covenant,
And we wonder why it didn't make any money.
oh gosh. There we go. Well, no, it made a comfortable amount, but it definitely is underperforming. It's like Prometheus made around $50 million when it came out in 2012. 5 years later, this one only did about 39, I think, and as you pointed out before the show, had a steep drop off of 71%.
Yep.
And so, how does this bode for the franchise going forward? James, as a kind of a observer of things Alien, without actually having seen an Alien movie, I'm not bitter.
I've never seen any of the Alien movies. I never got into it. I was the Predator guy. I liked the Predator movies.
Okay.
Mainly because you had a lot of big, realistic guns. You didn't have a lot of space guns. The only space movie I liked was Star Wars, really at the time.
But the pulse rifle in Aliens is the most wonderful fictional weapon of all time.
Give me an M60 with like 5,000 rounds that I could tear down a jungle, okay, and a couple of barrels I can swap out. But that being said, as someone who's just an observer of this franchise going forward and the past movies, I never like to see a movie, regardless of what it is, unless it's like, 50 Shades of Grey or the 50 Shades Darker movies fail, because those ones need to fail because they're horrible. But you go from a $30-40 million opening for like I don't know what the budget of this thing was, like $100-something million.
Around there, I'm sure.
And then you drop 71% from week 1 to week 2. That does not bode well for the rest of these. I know he wanted to make 2 more, I think, films.
That's
in
what they're
this
hoping
franchise.
to do, yeah.
And I have a hard time seeing they're going to pull that one off. But
Like as a potential customer, I guess, what do the Alien movies need to do to get your butt into the theater?
they need not to be Alien movies.
Oh.
Okay, they give him a better answer.
Yeah, let me explain. So, I know of the Alien movies. I know what they're about, and the first one was really good for its time. I didn't see it because I wasn't interested at it at the time. I was in the 80s, and I
1979.
See, I wasn't born yet, so my interest was piqued at Star Wars when I really started watching films. And when you had this race of aliens that come in and just kind of eat everybody and destroy things, that wasn't my speed. I like to have lots of different cultures and varieties. And a movie like Star Wars or space movies, we relatively get along, but you do kill each other in the end. And it was a horror thing. I'm not really big into the horror, sci-fi, or horror anything. I just find it to be stupid human tricks that people do to get themselves killed. I can't get past that. That's why I don't like horror movies. And this, to me, is just another one of those silly things that people do and get themselves killed. I can't get into it. I just can't. Not that they're not good movies. I just can't get into it. But getting off my tangent, going forward with Ridley Scott's films, he will do the next two because he likes this story, or else he wouldn't have made Prometheus, or that wouldn't have been a thing. And this movie wouldn't have been made because there's no way they would have looked at Prometheus and go, this is going to make a lot of money. And it didn't. Prometheus didn't really make that much money either.
Well, no, actually, it did fairly well. I want to say that it still made at least $500 million plus globally.
I'll have to look into that.
That's I would say, as someone who lives and breathes Alien films, well, not as much as some other people, but
but you're a fan.
Yeah, I'm a fan, and definitely since Alien 3, I feel like those films have had a bigger international audience.
Than
than
domestic.
domestic. Alien 3 was
Well,
more
let's
well
hope so.
received.
Again, I don't
so-
want this movie to fail by any means
Yeah.
of the imagination.
so
I
think we
want
still
Ridley
got,
Scott.
Yeah, I think we
to
still
make
got
movies.
some ways to go before we see how much money they make.
But that 71% says a lot. And I think what was the only other film that's dropped? Like that's like the second worst drop in the history of cinema ever since they've been keeping this forward.
Finally, Batman v Superman's not looking as bad, maybe.
When you
Not
compare it to
looking
this,
as bad. Wow.
it was actually one of the Harry Potter
Okay, the
films.
drop off is not looking as bad. I'm still
It
going
was
to
Harry-
defend the hell out of that movie. But
It was
go
Harry
ahead.
Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 that had a 72% drop from week 1 to week
Did
2.
it?
Yeah.
Huh.
The difference is you kind of can't compare these. Opening weekend, I think it made like 90 or $100 million opening weekend.
Something like that, yeah.
So you kind of can't compare the two. But I hope he makes more movies because if he does something that really entices me and gives me a good story that I can attach to, maybe I'll see it.
Segue, did you ever see The Martian, which was also directed by Ridley Scott?
I saw. No. That
No?
was the one
Yeah.
that was in space, and it was
It's a Matt Damon stranded on
Matt-
Mars.
Yeah. I did not see that one because it just reminded me of John Carter of Mars, but a little different. Hold on.
Do you need to break up a rat fight?
There you go.
Good job.
Yeah. Oh, they're still going at it. I have pet rats in our studio. Oh, there we go. What are you gonna do? Children, four-legged children. But yeah, getting back to point.
Well, I don't think they liked your comparison of The Martian and John Carter.
Apparently not. There's two different things, but that John Carter movie, the books were great. The movie sucked. So when I heard The Martian, I
I
was
defend
like,
the movie.
I was like, another one? I know it's not based on the same
No,
source
no,
material.
no.
I know, and I know it's a better film. I just another Mars movie didn't put a good taste in my mouth. I just didn't want to see another movie based on the planet Mars. So that's how I felt.
Okay.
Again,
Fair enough.
I'm gonna throw this out there real fast. We're the average movie-going audience. We're not critics. Didn't go to film school. We didn't graduate and get film degrees. We're just the average
Yeah.
people. So I gotta throw that out there.
John, what do you think of all this alien stuff?
One, I was a big fan of the original Alien. For me, I will put this out there. Was it a horror film? Yes, in a lot of ways, but the difference I think with Alien is that the good guys, the heroes, or the cast, generally did everything right. They were being punished
Did they?
really for doing everything right. They were.
Okay.
The interesting thing about Alien is that they were being
This is the first one in
the
'79.
very first one.
Okay.
They did everything they were supposed to. And the thing is, everyone, yeah, but they had died. And it's like, guys, you do realize these are basically truck drivers in space facing a creature that they're not prepared for.
Right.
And they tried to do everything right, and they still fail. That's actually one of the compelling aspects of the Alien franchises. You can do everything right and still fail. Now, with Prometheus, the issue I had with Prometheus and leading up the Covenant is that with these prequels is they seem there's an overarching story that I almost feel like they're holding too much back to hold the American audience.
I agree.
I think they're just holding, Americans. I'm an American, okay? I get hit in the head a lot. Shorter attention span than maybe people who are used to French films or Italian films, where they expect you to have a longer, they do expect you to have a longer lead in and investment in a lot of the storytelling pacing. Now, that being said, I could be wrong on that, but it just feels like if you guys would just give us a little more information, I think they'd be more successful in the American venue. Not to say they won't be successful because you always have the worldwide distribution, but visually they're great. He's never lost his touch for that, but it's just the issue of I did see Prometheus, and I always felt like I kind of enjoyed it, kind of didn't, because I felt like you just need to give me a little bit more. Now, maybe that was a technique to keep me hooked for another film. But that may not be enough to keep people coming back. It wasn't enough of a hook. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
With what I feel like he's withholding just a little bit too much.
No, I know exactly what you mean. And I said before the show that I loved Alien Covenant with one reservation. And here's where we get to the spoiler stuff. So if you haven't seen the movie, I'm giving you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They killed off Dr. Elizabeth Shaw off camera. Without any real contribution to the plot or anything. And that
I heard about that.
That was awful. It was a terrible thing. And I in the review I posted for DeathStryke, I said,
I read it. That's why I know of it.
Yeah.
I read our own channel stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah. But that was my big hang up where I equated this movie to Alien 3. I will defend it as a good entry into the franchise, and I enjoyed it. I think it, by and large, gets a bad rap, especially if you watch the assembly cut of Alien 3. But I am, like every other Alien fan, ticked off that they killed off. Well, you haven't seen the movie, so I'm going to spoil you anyway.
Go ahead. I'm not gonna see it.
They kill off all the characters from who survived Aliens, except for Sigourney Weaver's Ripley. And
rightfully so.
And they did all off camera, pretty much.
yeah, off camera. And so you get invested in those characters, and then they don't show up again. And that just hurts. And so with this one, I feel like, they
You could almost compare that to Rogue One, where everybody dies in Rogue One, but they die heroically on screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus you like that
at
character.
the end of their movie.
You're like, what? Oh, you died over... I didn't... swines.
Yeah.
But
with Covenant, like I say, good film, and I look forward to seeing what they do in the aftermath of this movie. But I also am apprehensive because at the end of this movie, I don't know how many people are going to return, if they return at all. I don't want to give too much away, but it is kind of a bleak ending, but one where, again, you want to see where they pick up the pieces to it.
do people survive in this movie? Did the xenomorphs kill everybody?
It's a spoiler show, so fuck it.
Yeah.
The android David ends up...
That's played by
Michael Fassbender,
Yeah,
who does
okay.
a damn good job.
He's always
And
good. Everything he's done is good.
His character of David is turning into one of the best sci-fi villains of the last several years, because he's kind of ambiguous in Prometheus, but he goes, I think, full-on villain in this one. And it ends with him having secretly replaced the android that looks just like him, Walter. And they kind of switch spots after this fight on the planet, and they're back on the ship. And
That
the
just
crew
reminds me of Star Trek with Data and
Laura.
Laura,
Yeah. Someone else on YouTube pointed that out. I wish I could remember which video that was. But yeah, it very much is a Data and Laura type thing. Bless you. And he's tucking away the crew members with all them thinking that he's Walter. And then at the last minute, the Catherine Waterston character realizes something went wrong, and she's in her cryopod, and he's like, no. Because she knows that David is going to continue the experiments that he did in Alien Covenant, where he was experimenting with the black goo from Prometheus to create the modern xenomorph or something like that. It was just playing around, only on the planet he was alone and didn't have any bodies. Now he's on a colonist ship with 2,000 bodies, and so they're fucked.
Yeah.
Long story short, they're fucked.
Yeah, don't trust androids.
Don't trust androids.
Period.
Yeah.
That seems to be a theme. I mean, from the first Alien movie, it's like you immediately learn, don't trust android. Don't.
It's like a iRobot almost. I know that was a retelling of other stories, but don't trust them. They'll turn on you in a minute.
Yeah. But going on Sean's point, the problem with Alien films is that they are taking their time to flesh out all this backstory. Prometheus, I defend that movie because as much as I loved the space trucker vibe of the first movie, this was the the first Alien was very blue collar. Prometheus was very white collar, and I like how the white collar people didn't do
As well
as the blue collar people.
Were the Space Marines in the first one?
No, that was the second one. Second one. So, but with this, it's like, yeah, they went into some of the backstory of the space jockeys and/or engineers, but they still haven't fleshed out the backstory of Special Order 937, which is what made the ship visit the planet in the first Alien movie,
right,
and all the company stuff that really is the backbone of the original 3 films, not counting Resurrection because the company wasn't around in that one. But I want to see that stuff fleshed out. I want to know why the company wants the alien as a weapon. How did they discover the alien? How do they tie into all this? Instead, we're getting just more people in space getting killed left and right,
bumbling into these horrible situations.
Yeah, so if you want to, let's say, flesh out the story, do that.
Yeah, maybe I'll get around to watching it someday.
There you go.
We'll see.
So we've had our chance to bitch about Alien for a while. That's my take. Still love the movie. I hate to give the impression that I didn't like it. I want more, and I hope the next movie gives us that.
I think Ridley Scott will make more movies. He seems to have this idea and this projection of where he wants to go with it. And for the most part, he's a damn good filmmaker, so they're going to keep giving him that opportunity regardless of how much or how little this movie makes. And by all means, do it. I'm not going to say don't do it because it didn't make money. Some passion projects don't make money, but you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah. Right, but it's also, as James pointed out, never underestimate the power of the worldwide market.
Yeah,
because
the
once again,
overseas box office and stuff.
whereas we tend to focus on box office opening weekends and how they're doing up until they're yanked from the theaters.
Yeah.
They have a whole second and third life on streaming and DVD releases, especially in second and third tier countries.
Yep.
And
That's going to be a big story for the next topic. So,
Okay, very good. Which I think we should move right on into. I've said all I can about Alien. I don't want to go into too much more about it, but mainly because we don't have the time. So let's move on
Time
to
restraints.
so let's move on to something you're much more excited about,
yeah.
which is Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales.
They do tell tales, and they keep looking like every other dead pirate that we've seen going forward from the second one forward. Go figure. I liked it. I liked Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales. It was a great sort of, I want to say like love letter to the first one.
Sure.
It wasn't on the same level because on that first one it was your first real swashbuckling adventure that we've seen on the big screen in quite a while. That had that nice, good piratey flavor to it. And you had some really great characters. You had Jack Sparrow, you had Barbossa, you had Gibbs, you had all these people who were just gave that first pirate movie everything you'd wanted. Good sword fights, good dialogue, good drinking, good silliness overall, drunken women and men everywhere. It was great. This one is better than the 2, 3, and 4. And hands down, in my opinion, it was better than those ones. I do have my gripes about it, but you saw it. What do you think about it?
I enjoyed it for the same reason you did. It was a kind of return to the first one. They were looking for a magical object, some kind of MacGuffin, and there was the chase that ensues.
Poseidon's Trident. Or
typical
Trident
stuff.
Poseidon.
But lost my train of thought for a second. The ghost sharks were cool.
So again, this is going to be like a kind of a spoilerly
Kind of a
talk
spoiler
about
thing.
it. You'll see the spoiler thing.
Well, I'm so glad they got non-human ghosts, and I'm glad that the Spaniards have 2 dead sharks that they just tossed into the water, and they're ghost sharks, and they start attacking people.
Right.
That was cool.
That was really cool. I was kind of more curious of why they were dead. Were they part of like the Devil's Triangle when the ship exploded, and they were just sort of there, and they became part of like the ghosts?
Great curse. They got killed at the same
time.
time.
Yeah. That left me wondering how that happened, right? Because we don't see those kind of things.
Well,
in the movies previous when we had a lot of ghost pirates.
well, the Minions got their own spinoff. Maybe we'll get a ghost shark spinoff.
No.
Okay.
I would like to see them return in some way if they continue these movies. I think they're going to, because that was a kind of a cool aspect. It brought in some other supernatural beings, or not supernatural, real creatures like sharks. I mean, ghost sharks are cool. But my biggest gripe is there wasn't that many epic sword fights in it. You had your drunken Sparrow at the beginning stealing a bank, right?
Yeah.
He's robbing the bank, but they stole the whole bank, literally, which I thought was kind of a good take on it. I thought that was fun. And then after that, you had, they get back to Jack's ship. He no longer captains the Black Pearl because the Black Pearl's in a bottle that was put there by Blackbeard, which is a whole nother thing. And then you have this sort of scene later on. They introduce this witch character that had we lost Calypso from that one, so they had to bring in a character like that because she was so well beloved. I liked her in the movies. That character was really cool. From was it second or third one, fourth one? Anyway,
I think it was only the second, third one.
Yeah, because she wasn't in on Stranger Tides.
I never even saw that one. I couldn't bring myself to watch
I don't
it.
think she was.
It's not worth watching, I promise. But it was lacking that fearing Jack Sparrow element. You got a lot of the silliness that we're used to seeing with Jack, and a lot of drunkenness. But that when he crossed the swords with Orlando Bloom's character in the beginning, is like I'm Captain Jack Sparrow, or he says ever cross blades with a pirate, and he's very good, sword fighter. This whole movie was lacking that. There's a whole lot of running around being drunk and silly, which has its.
Yeah. Well, I just remembered a point that
the guillotine scene was hilarious.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, and the new characters were good too.
So that reminds me of the major spoiler plot in this whole thing is you have the character of what was her name?
I'm so bad with with names there. They're new people.
I know. So the actress.
Oh, Karina.
Karina.
There you go.
So Karina is played by the same actress who played a character called Effie from the movies from this BBC show. Wasn't BBC. It was E3, but it was a British show called Skins, where she was running around partying, drinking, half naked half the time. So when I saw her on screen, I was like, "It's that chick." That's funny. But she was also in the remake of I can't remember the name of it.
I know her from the Maze Runner movies.
She was in that one as well, but she was also in. She was in there with Nicholas Hoult in another remake film, with the Mechanical Owl. Come on, it was a classic film.
Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans, the remake of Clash. She was in the remake of Clash of the Titans, and that's kind of where she was from. But she was in this movie. The major plot point is she doesn't know who her dad is, and then you have Orlando Bloom's son looking for, trying to break the curse of his father. Mm-hmm. So you have these two characters who are running parallel in this whole story, trying to find their father.
Tied in well.
And they tied that in very well. But we finally get some, backstory on Barbossa. It turns out Barbossa had a daughter, and they finally reveal it toward like the last 15 minutes of the film, and you can put it together about 5 minutes beforehand. Roughly 5-10 minutes beforehand, which is kind of cool. It's good to telegraph some of that stuff sometimes. That didn't take me out of it. What really took me out of it was that island of sapphire and rubies, where they lined up the star map. I was like, you had this whole freaking island full of jewels that Barbossa knew about that he never cashed in on. It's not like it was cursed.
Retirement fund.
Yeah.
But he was already retired. He was living a fat life as a good damn pirate.
I was expecting him to rob the island or something.
Yeah. I was like, you had this wonderful island full of like sapphires and rubies, and you're just letting it sit there
because it's too easy.
Eh.
There's no sword fighting.
Sitting target.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too easy.
But a lot of the special effects were great. I'm glad they polished a lot of that stuff up from the trailers.
Well, I guess also you could argue that the island was hidden. You had to have a special map.
You had to know about it. You had to know about the map that no man could read, which is the star map.
Yeah.
Unless you were a really good astronomer, or what do they call it?
Horologist.
Horologist, which is study of time? No.
You got me.
Yeah, I forget. But that was a big running joke through the entire movie.
That would make sense, yeah, because like the study of hours, time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sure.
So that was a big fun joke. And there were a lot of good one-liners in this film as well. It's just they failed to recapture the magic that was the first one, and I know that's
you ever can.
Yeah, that's one of those things you can never recapture, which is fair enough, but it's enjoyable, and I'm happy it made $77 million at the box office when it opened. Not the highest grossing Pirates film, but still better than the other ones. Where was it? I think it was the lowest opening for Pirates.
That's the lowest weekend opening, but still You've pointed out before the overseas numbers will help.
So the overseas number, but tying it back in with the overseas box office, is the box office, the overseas box office, or the Pirates of the Caribbean films all of them have been obliterated the U.S. box office, bar none. Like it was like, I think overseas it made like something ungodly, like $600 million or something like that.
Sounds right.
Like opening weekend or the whole run versus like domestically, I think it made like $400 million. So it always beats domestic for Pirates in the overseas box office. So going forward, I know they still have like 2 or 3 of these things planned. I didn't see the post-credit scene.
I had to inform you about that, yeah.
I don't know how that's going to tie in, because I think they just threw out the whole continuity thing of all the other Pirates movies out the window, because in this one film, they broke the curse of all of the curses. They broke all the sea curses.
Yes.
Yeah. And yet we had a claw, which appeared to be Davy Jones.
Davy Jones, who was dead.
Who died.
Yeah.
Who was stabbed by Jack. I think it was Jack. And then it was...
his heart got stabbed, and then...
his heart got stabbed by Orlando Bloom's character, so...
Yeah. I would only add, because this kind of just ties into Alien, and then we'll get Sean's take. I think the problem with Alien Covenant is that it's the first in the franchise that felt like it was the part 1 of a 2 to 3 part story.
Yeah.
And Pirates felt better this time because previously they tried that. They did a sequels that they filmed back to back.
Yeah.
I think the public has long soured on that, and they've gotten tired of forking over $10 to $14 for one movie, knowing you have to come back in a year or two to see part 2. And I think that's why the Hunger Games
they did that with 2
finale.
and 3.
That's why the Hunger Games finale partly didn't do so well. I'm glad they're moving away from the 2-part format for Avengers: Infinity War and Justice League. didn't work very well. The damn Twilight movies tried that with their finale. So just a long string of times.
That's what Harry Potter did too. With the
yeah, Harry Potter did that. I think the public's tired of it. Give them a full, complete movie.
The only time it works is when it's an epic novel based film, like Lord of the Rings. You had Lord of the Rings was in 3 movies, 3 books. Even though originally it was 1 book that they broke up later on because no one wants to read this book.
Well, like I have friends who
he wrote it, but I mean that's you. So
like you said you never watched an Alien movie. I've only seen the first 2 Lord of the Rings movies, never read the books.
So, there's a door downstairs you can walk out of. No, I'm just kidding.
but there's a window right over there.
Yeah. But I have diehard friends of.
I will not defend the Hobbit movies by any means.
You read my mind because they get ticked off that the Hobbit was 3 movies. They said,
and it was this big of a book.
Should have been 1 movie.
It just that and it felt blatantly milking the cow.
That's exactly what it was.
It blatantly felt like, we don't care what you think. The only good thing I will say about the Hobbit movies.
Martin Freeman was amazing.
Well, 2 things, I guess. But the fact that they explored things that were kind of referenced in The Hobbit, but retroactively because they actually appear in the Silmarillion or some of the extended Lost Tales.
I was going to bring that up too.
Such as the battle at Dol Guldur with the the reforming Sauron.
Kind of wandering in the Hobbit territory here.
Yeah,
but I definitely agree. I think milking the cow is the line I was trying to think of earlier, which is how I felt with Alien Covenant, and they avoided that with Pirates because they weren't doing sequels back to back. They did one full comprehensive movie.
And
good.
I think that's part of the charm of the first one. You had a big beginning, a middle, and end of a story that you could possibly take it into another type of movie like that, and that's what they tried to do with this one, and it worked. And I just wish they would just leave out those stupid end credit things because it ruined the whole thing. That basically threw the whole continuity thing out the damn window. It goes, nope, we're going to bring back this character because we like squid face people. But you just said the curse was lifted. You know, it's like, come on. Unless they bring back Calypso, but that wouldn't make any sense either because she's gone.
Yeah. Once again, it's, as you said, you just threw out continuity.
Yeah, continuity, schmontinuity in the Pirates world. So.
Yeah. It's like the argument, and a little off topic, but the way people talk about the X-Men movies, they exist they exist in their own individual universe per movie.
Yes.
Deadpool had a joke about that in his movie. Yeah.
And no, and I'll second that, and that's why Logan works so well because it takes place so far after everything that it's its own thing.
Right.
And I still need to see that. I haven't seen it yet.
My wife,
I think it comes out on Blu-ray, so I can buy it.
It's already out.
It's out.
Okay, yeah, I'll go buy it.
It's one of those things that we may need to do, like a DeathStryke media a viewing party or something.
Watch party, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we can do that.
Commentary, yeah.
Yeah, we'll play it, and it's gonna be a long damn video.
Yeah, but it would be the issue that I have to do this when my wife's not around. She refuses to see it.
Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, it's like the year's best comic book movie.
It's the year's best comic book movie, and it's very dark. So?
Yes, it sounds like it's right up
you
my
say
alley.
that as if it were a bad thing.
No, I love movies.
Best be light and dark. Yeah.
No, I said she will not be around. It's one of these things that we differ on movies. So we cannot watch movies that are dark, in the house. So
I understand that. I can't watch horror movies in the house with my wife, so. Well, she hates horror movies.
But it's like when I was, 7 or 8, I saw, like The Exorcist.
She won't watch
so,
it.
that kind of didn't affect me at all, in any way. Moving on.
Let's move past. Let's sail past the Pirates now.
Speaking of franchises that are now on the 3rd movie of a rebooted continuity and doing them all very right, in my humble opinion, let's talk about the upcoming War for the Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be that sounds like such an idiot, but didn't see the other 2.
Really? Oh. Well,
I know they're good. Like, I've heard nothing but fantastic things.
Don't feel as bad because I missed Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which was the 2011 film, which first rebooted all this.
Yeah. Right, I saw that one.
I've only seen bits and pieces of it, but my God, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, like as a fan of that franchise as well, and as a fan of the original 5,
they made 5 of the original?
Yeah, 5 originals. They have the Tim Burton one, which I don't like.
I didn't see it.
We don't
Not a lot of
mention
people
that
do
one.
like. You don't need to watch that one. But my God, Dawn for the Planet of the Apes was something just...
That was also with Andy Serkis,
Yeah.
right?
He's in all 3, playing Caesar. But my God, Dawn for the Planet of the Apes was so beautiful.
I've been meaning to ask, does this take place before the original series? Or is it sort of like its own pocket thing?
It's been billed, I believe, as a reboot, not connected to the original movies. However, I've always wondered, because there was an Easter egg in the 2011 movie, where they had news footage of God, I want to say it's called the Icarus spaceship being launched, and that is a ship that carried Charlton Heston and his crew into space in the 1968 film. And so I've been wondering if after this trilogy wraps up, are they going to pick up this timeline with that crew and do more or less a remake of the 1968 film?
I don't know. I've been asked, like, where does this fall in the timeline of space, or is it its own thing? I have no idea.
It's its own thing.
It's kind of its own thing.
That makes me happy.
But they're still kind of making it where you can see it led up to the classic films.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a retelling, reboot kind of thing.
It's like if you want to
a
get-
loose-based prequel, but it's more of a reboot.
Like if you want to go back to the original 5, like there was the first movie, then there's.
I've only seen the first one.
The first one.
Okay, I have seen one Planet.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the very first one.
There's Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, and then the other two I get mixed up. I think it's Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and then Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Yeah. So, but yeah, time travel does come up in the third one. So they did their own time loop on their own. And then the ape revolution is way different in that one, where like some plague has wiped out dogs and cats, and so apes
part of
are
humanity.
now domestic servants, and they lead what is in effect a slave revolt. This new continuity had nothing like that.
Familiar with that? Okay, but you do have apes on horseback.
Yes.
Okay, see that's kind of a cool thing.
Or in the last movie, apes in a tank.
Either way, you can
Yeah.
get apes on stuff. So I'm not opposed to seeing this movies, but for whatever reason, they just skipped off my radar. I think what was going on in 2011? What were we doing in 2011? What was I doing in 2011?
I remember watching.
I was working
yeah.
a lot, and I was doing. I don't even remember what I was doing in 2011.
Yeah.
So
No, I remember watching the trailer for Rise of the Planet of the Apes in the theater at a midnight screening.
camping a lot, and getting drunk. That's what I was doing.
There you go.
A lot
I
of
wonder if
that.
you missed the movie.
I missed a lot of things because I was really drunk.
But I went to a midnight premiere of X-Men First Class, and the trailer for Rise of the Planet of the Apes was on there, and the trailer got laughed out of the auditorium. People didn't take it seriously. They didn't like the look of it, but by God, the movie came out. It did.
Yeah, it's crushed it. Yeah, every movie's crushed.
It did good business, and people loved it. It really just held their attention.
Yeah, that's what I know. Like I looked at the box office and movies and stuff, and it's like clearly they're doing something right. They're telling a good story, and that's what really ultimately drives the fans to go see it. Is you have a good story. Of course, special effects are cool, and it's a property that's known. Just didn't see it. Don't know.
You know, for me, I saw it kind of afterwards. I don't know. It's not really catching my attention. I guess I've seen too many dystopian kind of movies of late. It could be. I've always liked the production, though. The thing is, I'll watch the trailers and watch clips and really appreciate the production of it. And also for me, in my dark anthropology mind, I'm liking this is what would happen if, Homo habilis had stayed around, or Heidelbergus man had stayed around, or possibly Neanderthal had continued on. Because a lot of the themes they're exploring that I see in the clips would have been the arguments for these other types of humans. They're just using the primates, to me, because one of the problems is with any primate versus human, of course, they're stronger than us, and they're faster than us, and you then give them the equal intelligence. Yeah, we're fucked.
Yeah, no,
we're screwed.
They had a great line in
This is not a children's show, so you can say what you want.
That's okay. I dropped the F-bomb earlier,
Yeah.
so we're
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But no, they had a great line in the second movie where one of the humans says, "You know what frightens me the most?" And I'm paraphrasing. They don't need clothing, they don't need shelter, they don't need electricity, and that's why they're going to kick our ass.
Yeah,
That's basically
Yeah.
True. Like that's from any aspect. You look at it from a battle plan. You're like, well, normal humans when they're facing battle, you're like, well, they got to eat, they got to sleep, and they have to have shelter. They don't. They can attack anytime.
at any time, and also in a 3D environment that most humans
up and
can't.
doan
Yeah.
from all sides. They can outflank you because they can travel in ways humans can't. Regardless of what kind of machines we have, they can go up and down trees lickety split, be in and out in no time. Talk about the best special op teams that you can get, and
Yeah.
hire the apes. No,
There
don't
you
do that. We don't want to start that.
I would also add that
They do have dolphins that seals use for stuff, but that's
right.
different
Yeah.
topic.
I would also add that for Batman fans like myself, we're excited because Matt Reeves, who directed the previous movie and is directing this one, is going to helm the standalone Batman film. So we like to see how he handles this story. And
Who's going to play Batman?
Well, I'm hoping Ben will stick around.
for one more movie.
No, let's keep him around as long as Hugh Jackman did Wolverine.
10
You really
years.
like him as Batman?
Yes.
You really do?
You know,
I think him
Go
as
ahead.
the slightly older Batman.
Yeah.
I do like him as a slightly older Batman.
I liked him in that with. I did like him in BVS. I think he was the standout in that film. But however, in the Justice League trailer, I think it was maybe the first or second one goes, "What's your superpower?" I'm rich. Best line ever. I'm like, that is Bruce Wayne. When he's an older, angry gentleman, he's like, I'm tired of running around with these stupid kids. Yeah, I'm rich. Get over it. I'll buy your way out of your troubles, no problem, and I'll buy enough firepower to level the earth.
Yeah, I'm
It's okay.
tired of justifying my existence to you.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm rich.
And I love how he finds out Flash's secret identity by hurling a batarang at him.
Yep.
I like that. Yeah, I actually
Imagine
like
if he was wrong.
Yeah.
I could pay your medical bills. I can come. I can get you a grant.
You
I
will,
can get you a
live at
grant.
Wayne Manor, and you will never ever leave. We're not talking about this.
I will get you a grant.
I was rewatching Batman Forever last week, and
Why would you do that?
I have a soft spot for it. But there's that scene where he breaks down the door to Nicole Kidman's office, thinking she was under attack, and it was just her working out. And it's like, sorry, thought you were in trouble. I have an appointment. I'm Bruce Wayne. And she goes, good. Then you can afford to buy me a new door.
Batman Forever.
That's the Val Kilmer one.
Okay, that's not as
That's
bad.
why no one remembers it.
Yeah, that's not as bad as what I was thinking. The Schumacher one,
They're both Schumacher ones.
the next one,
Batman and Robin.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah. That movie happened. And
Much like
I'm
the
not,
prequels
and
happened.
I'm not gonna, but I am not gonna deny that it happened. We can
I won't
learn
deny
from
the
that.
prequels happened
Yeah,
either.
yeah, there we go. So we're smart about this. We
Yeah.
actually lived through our pain. It's like what Captain,
Like nibbles on bat suits. You
Yeah.
just live through it.
Yeah,
Just keep
Well,
moving.
As,
Don't make eye
yeah,
contact.
yeah.
Just keep moving. Just keep moving.
Like Captain Kirk. I don't want my pain to go away. I need my pain.
That's right. Holy polyphonic ringtone, Batman.
But Dawn for the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, Matt Reeves. We want to see how he again performs with a blockbuster film. Very special effects heavy, but still with a heart to it. Because, gosh, there are people who watch these films and they're kind of rooting for the apes because they keep just seeing these inhumane
That's what I keep
human
hearing,
characters.
is that, yeah,
and they're
you
pulling
root for the apes. You're like, but I'm human.
I know.
Well, it's the dichotomy that if you're a fan of comic books, which most people who are in the sci-fi films usually are, when you first read the Underground comic, we would call it Underground now, V for Vendetta. The hero is a terrorist.
Still got to pick that one up. Yeah.
The hero is a
have it
terrorist.
somewhere.
You watch the movie and you realize, yeah, he's fighting an oppressive government, but he's a freaking terrorist. He's killing people that had nothing to do with nothing, except
Remember the
trying to get through their everyday lives as best as everyone else. He was willing to starve and torture his only friend, and you're rooting for this individual. So the problem with rooting for
That
the
was
apes,
Natalie Portman, wasn't it?
yeah,
I've heard stories, and if the stories are true, she's not my Hollywood crush, but she's up there. She's up
but
there.
Let's just pause and reflect on Natalie Portman for a moment.
And that moment's up.
moving on. But it's the issue that so you're rooting for the apes because mankind they're confronting these archetypes of evil of mankind's excess behaviors, etc. But ultimately, you're rooting for the people that are going to destroy or oppress you.
Right.
So that is an interesting dichotomy as the viewer. Who should you be cheering for?
That's what we call good storytelling.
And no one oppresses better than Woody Harrelson.
That's very true.
Apparently so.
Woody Harrelson looks fantastic in this movie. Again, I will have to see the other two before I see this. I don't want to see him out of order, but yeah, Woody Harrelson, whatever role he's in, plays it 110%. Like 110%. I loved him in was it Day After Tomorrow?
Sounds right.
He was the guy in the Winnebago in Montana.
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
Wyoming or the Yellowstone.
Yeah, you're thinking of 2012.
It was 2012.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love disaster movies. That's one of my things I just love.
Or Natural Born Killers. He's just insane.
right.
in
Yeah,
movie,
that one.
I was
White Man
thinking-
Can Jump.
I was thinking he's playing the same. When I saw the trailer for Planet of the Apes, I was like, is that the character from Natural Born Killers?
But yeah, it could be. I also I can't wait to see what he does in the Han Solo film. So we'll see their nice tie-in. But yeah, Woody Harrelson looks phenomenal in this movie. I think he's gonna be the real scumbag of the movie that you just want him to die and to be scrubbed off the face of the planet. But I have a feeling they're gonna give him a slight human element where you're like, well, he might be right. and then he does something completely like
Yeah. Like, never mind.
ridiculous. You're like, nope, he needs to die. Someone kill him, please.
Yeah, it's called in the writing for in screenplay writing they call that save the cat moment.
Yeah.
So for a moment you feel empathy even for a villain that maybe there's some redeeming. Oh, never mind, that guy's a jerk. Just run him over. Just
Take him out.
Save the cat. I'll remember that one.
Yeah, it's one of the terminologies that you have to show when you're dealing with human storytelling, especially that there is basically the theory is there is no such thing as a completely evil human.
We all know that's wrong.
That's once again people will argue that, and the point is
It's all about the point of view.
it's also to twist your heartstrings.
Like, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
That's right. See,
From a certain point of view,
Jedi
Jedi are evil.
Well, speaking of a captive group of evil people, I'm going to try to segue as best I can.
Cut you off and segue it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No, fine.
Did you have more? Oh,
No,
you
you're fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
Just
just
wanna
bring
make
it up every time now. For decades.
But captive group of evil people, we have the trailer for Murder on the Orient Express.
That dropped
which
today.
I am super excited about.
And we
I
just
didn't know
watched
that
the
happened.
trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've known about this film ever since the Josh Gad Daisy Ridley thing about Josh Gad trying to get Daisy Ridley to spill the beans on episode 8. We've talked about this. Those little couple minute videos that they do, and there was like 4 of them. There were 4 or 5 of them in the series. But once they started introducing characters in those little short films, like Judi Dench and of course Daisy Ridley, Josh Gad, and then we got around, it's like, oh, Johnny Depp's gonna be in it. Now, that's cool. And then the cast kept growing. And I'm like, and I totally forgot that Willem Dafoe was in this movie.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
And Michelle, I didn't know she was in the movie until we saw the trailer. And so I was like, when we just watched the trailer a little while ago, I was just like, this looks phenomenal for a retelling of a retelling of a retelling. It's they're taking this movie and they're putting a spin on it, a slightly modern storytelling spin on it, and I think that's going to work very well for the modern audiences who have never seen the past ones. And for those who have seen the past ones, I can guarantee you they're going to drop some little things that sort of go, this little bit from this part, this one remake of this one movie was this way, and this is it. So I love the way this movie looks. It's going to be great. Johnny Depp doesn't look like he's going to be overly bearing.
Deppy.
Yep.
And everything looks pretty well cast, in my opinion.
Yeah, the look of his character looks more like his.
He done it.
I'm biting my tongue, but no, the look of Johnny Depp seemed like he was going for more of or like he was channeling the John Dillinger character from Public Enemies, and not so much his other more over the top performance.
More subdued.
Yeah, more of a real, like, relatable character, not
There you
sort of not over the top.
Actually, everything looked really, really good. For one, they ditched kind of a gray-blue filter, which is something they try to do in all these like art house films, which is good because that makes the colors more modern and it does actually appeal, visually a lot better. The fact that Kenneth Branagh is not only the producing, directing, starring kind of scenario. I've yet to go see a Kenneth Branagh project where he was juggling everything that it wasn't good. So I have big hopes for this. Also, to revisit the character Hercule Poirot.
Oh yeah,
Who is, he's someone who's a canon of anyone who loves what they call locked room mysteries, and this is this is his big finished story, This was the really big story of Hercule Poirot, I believe, with Agatha Christie's arc with him. All the little minor stories led up to this one grand final mystery. And to have it in the hands of Kenneth Branagh, I have a lot of faith that this will be really well shot. Not just a good storytelling. He has a great sense of story. After all, he was probably the single most influential person to bring Henry V back to public consciousness, and other films of those natures. Make them more accessible.
Hamlet.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he also did Hamlet. So the thing is, he has a great way of making it more relevant, and also a really great way of shooting it. And so I'm kind of like, I don't know which I'm more excited for. How he's going to do the visual storytelling, because he's really got a great eye for visual storytelling. But his real skill is actually taking older material and making it relevant to a newer audience. And that's the other exciting thing for me. So.
Yeah. I just watched the original, I think, 1972
so good.
production. knock on wood. I think I'm right. It could have been 74. I don't know.
Either way, the original was good.
Yeah, I just watched the original about a month ago, and when I saw the trailer, I thought, it's the same movie. I'm normally the guy who immediately sells
You can't change
remakes.
it too much, though.
Yeah. Like I'm the guy who says why remake something that was great. But I feel good about this particular remake because one of my favorite stories from watching the special features of the original was when they screened it. The immortal composer Bernard Herrmann was watching the movie, and they were getting the train going for the scene where it departs the station, and the main theme gets going. And what stands out the most about the original is how it has such a happy traveling type score that doesn't seem like it fits in a murder movie. Mm-hmm. And Bernard Herrmann, upon hearing that happy score in this murder movie, apparently shouted it in the theater, "It's a train of death!" As if he objected to the tone. And I like how in this version of it, the train is more darker, sharper, and it does actually look like a train of death.
Yeah,
so
it's black.
It's black.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of what appears to be like armor plating on it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
a snowplow. But the thing is,
I know, but
but the thing is, I think that's
armor. Damn it!
The visual cues, like I was mentioning with
Visual
Branagh,
cues, yeah,
is the fact is if you actually see the train that was the original, if you have actually ever seen pictures of the real train, it was almost kind of like an Art Deco piece. It was.
Think Hogwarts Express from Harry Potter.
Yeah, it was really really showy, and so they didn't go for the muted colors. They had like a lot of brass and a lot of trim like that to show off the Edwardian, Gilded Age kind of feel.
That's how good railways I think should be though. Like should be this grand thing,
Right?
Because
Because
especially
you're
gonna
stuck there.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna travel that way. Not like modern trains today, which are all good and fine, the wonderful technology, bullet trains and stuff like that, and coal and electric and all that stuff. But something really cool about being on a classic train in modern times, going, this is really cool looking. I would have totally traveled on this thing back in the day.
But the thing is also, it's stark color difference between the white, against the white background of the snow. I mean, it does, as you said, look like a train of death. It looks like someone took extra coal oil and just rubbed, light disappears as it touches it. Something you expect Vader riding around in.
Yeah, no kidding.
Darth train.
Yeah. But yeah, it makes me feel good that Bernard Herrmann is remaking a movie, but he's doing it with a different aesthetic, a different tone. Because and my God, such a good cast all around.
Yeah, one thing that did take me out
Brilliant
of
ensemble.
It's funny you bring up music and how the first one had the happy music. The music in this trailer, and I don't know why trailers who have these period pieces put modern music in there.
Yeah.
That takes me out of it completely. One, they overplay the crap out of that song on the radio. And two, I don't like that song.
I still have it stuck in my head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit the movie. Like, if you're going to do something like that or use the modern music, kind of give it, if you're going to want that ominous feeling. You don't want to do it like a pop rock, is what it kind of reminded me of. Something that's, but you want to, I don't know, I feel like you should have a different piece of music there than something as popular as that song is on the radio to play that you hear every 5 songs. Give it a more,
But I don't
know, ominous feel?
Well, I don't know. I think that more than likely the song is only featured in the trailer. I don't think it'll be featured in the
I don't
movie.
see it on the
hope
soundtrack.
so. I
But
hope so. I hope they don't ruin it with a modern soundtrack.
I approve because already I want to listen to that song again just to get it out of my head, and so I feel like
Now it's going to remind you of the trailer.
Exactly. Now it's going to tie into all that, and I think that's a decent piece of marketing, no matter how I don't know.
If we hate it or love it, it's
yeah.
there.
It's
Now
there.
you're going to think of it.
Like I guess I would sum it up by saying that there's no such thing as bad press.
That's all. Fortunately, that's true.
Yeah.
Give us Brad Press, YouTube. Damn it. We'll take it.
We'll take any press. Any press.
Yeah, but yeah, and again, you got Kenneth Branagh, Michelle Pfeiffer,
Daisy Ridley. Johnny Depp, Willem Dafoe.
in the movie she made between the 2 Star Wars movies, right? Yeah. Because
She's a busy
has
lady.
she has not made a film after Force Awakens, and John Boyega has made 2. He did The Circle and Detroit. Mm-hmm. So nice to see her back on the big screen.
Well, I bet she... I have to look at her IMDb. I don't know what she's done. I know she did one between 8 and 9.
Did she?
Yeah. It's probably in post-production.
Okay.
But she's doing different projects. I think where John Boyega does more smaller films. For whatever reason, I would hate to assume it has to do with race, because I thought he was a fantastic actor in The Force Awakens, and he's done smaller projects before. Daisy Ridley did one thing before Force Awakens,
Yeah.
and she had a very, very small role. And now she's huge. Like, no one who is a Star Wars fan doesn't know who Daisy Ridley is. Even outside of that, like, you know, do you know who Rey is? Anybody who knows the new Star Wars, like, yeah, I know who that is. It's like, you know, when growing up, we like Princess Leia. You know who Princess Leia is? Of course I know who Princess Leia is. It's Carrie Fisher, of course. But I hope it's not. I hope it has nothing to do with his race.
Yeah.
But I want to see him in bigger films. I think he's going to be in the second
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim.
Yes.
So he's got a big blockbuster coming out.
Yeah.
And that one was attached to Guillermo del Toro. I thought at one point.
Yeah,
I
he
think
directed the
backed
first
that.
one.
Yeah,
He's kind of producing this one. He couldn't work in his schedule to
right.
direct.
So he's got that coming out soon.
Yeah.
And so
I think he's doing well.
yeah, I think he's doing well. And of course, Daisy Ridley has this one, Star Wars, and I'm sure she's done some other smaller things in between.
And of course, for the movie Detroit, he gets to work with Academy Award nominee, Academy
nominee.
Award nominated director Catherine Bigelow, who got nominated and won for The Hurt Locker. Sorry, I think she won, didn't she?
She won for Hurt Locker.
Yeah, she won for Hurt Locker. Got robbed back in 1990. Should have won Best Director and Best Picture for Point Break. Most awesome movie ever made.
It is a good movie, but I don't think it's Oscar worthy.
Wow, to go from Point Blank to Hurt Locker. Wow,
That's a
Point Break.
big jump.
Great movie.
But
The FBI pays Keanu Reeves to surf.
you never know. Spy jobs are everywhere. You never know what you're going to get involved in once you become a spy, or at least an undercover cop. At least you know.
And I guess rounding out the cast for Murder on the Orient Express, you have Penelope Cruz. You mentioned Willem Dafoe.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Judy Dench.
Pfeiffer. Yes, Dame Judi Dench. I feel like there's one more person. Oh, and Josh Gad.
Josh Gad.
Josh Gad.
Okay.
Johnny Depp. Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, but it's a hell of a cast, much like the first one,
And
the original.
I know that on the trailer, the type that they used for the movie title reminded me of the hotel type lighting that they're using for the Bates Motel TV show. Like that definitely reminded me of like just seeing that hotel sign in the movie Psycho and on the TV show, which I need to binge watch eventually.
So Psycho or the
Bates Motel.
Bates Motel. Takes it a little differently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, looks good regardless.
Right.
I can't wait till it comes out, and I can't wait to see more trailers so I can start
There we
piecing
go.
together who done it.
Yeah, I'm curious on if they would change the ending to the story.
That's the really
that's the-
interesting thing.
Yeah, if you see the original, you know who done it.
Yeah,
unless they do a twist. What the twist?
Yeah,
Twist with the twist with the twist.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil that that ending, but my God, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was the version. Yeah, they're very good endings. Any of the remakes are actually pretty good. Once you know the actual ending, you're like, okay, well, I know how this ends, obviously. But the first one was great, and I hope they take this one in a slightly different direction, or they change it up enough. But I don't think they're going to. They're going to keep it pretty much the same because
That's a
That's
tough
kind
call.
of the thrill,
kind of
though.
yeah.
That's kind of the thrill. Is are they or aren't they?
that, and if they do keep it the same ending, I hope they do little differences here and there throughout the film to kind of throw you off if they're going to or aren't going to.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
So that's all I got on that one.
Okay.
Same here.
I think that's all we have for today. Enjoyed talking about our reaction to these films. If you haven't already, check out Alien Covenant. I did enjoy the film, and again, I look forward to seeing where that franchise goes. James, at least watch the first one. I think you'll enjoy it.
I'll get around to it. I also want to plug our other show, the Force Friday show. That is up on the channel now. Go check that out. We talk about some cool, fun stuff. I believe some of the topics we talked about was Warwick Davis,
Yes.
how good of a presence he is on stage, and we also covered some other stuff on Kylo Ren and stuff like that. So go check that out if you haven't already checked that out, and keep being awesome.
I tie everything in, guys. If we're right, tell us we're right. If we're wrong, hey, correct us, challenge us, give us some comments. We do read them and we will respond. So just give us a chance. Tell us something.
Yep. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page. There's 2 reviews up there right now, one for Alien Covenant and one for King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. There will be a review up there, probably for Pirates. If I have to write it, I will. I'm a horrible writer, but I'll get it up there.
And we do have Wonder Woman coverage coming.
Wonder Woman coverage.
Wonder Woman coming out. We'll probably do a written review as well as a spoiler discussion review as soon as the movie comes out, because it's no fun to talk about that now because, well, you need to see it.
You need to see it. Yeah, I do.
You need to see this one. It's very good.
I do. Look forward to it.
Yeah, so look forward to that, guys. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you for joining us on Better Than B, and y'all have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.